Hey, all you gaming maniacs out there, thank you for joining me for another YouTube video here on Retro Geek Gaming. We like to talk about stuff that's retro, geek, and gaming related, and my hair is a mess. It's trying to grow out in all kinds of weird different directions. I might need to just go ahead and get it cut. But let's go ahead and get into today's news topics. Some interesting stuff came up over the weekend that I wanted to talk about. You can feel free to join me on this journey, to leave a like, subscribe if you like this kind of stuff, because I like to do this stuff at least once a week, if not 2 or 3 times a week, depending upon the news topics that we have. And of course, you can feel free to leave a comment down below about this particular video or any of the subjects that we talk about. Love to hear what you guys have to say. I just ask that we please keep it respectful. I try to be a positive news channel and talk about the positives of stuff, although every now and then negative stuff like this comes up that can't be avoided. So what am I talking about today? Well, talking about how the developer behind Gotham Knights has stated that it will only run at 30 frames per second and will offer no performance mode on consoles. This isn't surprising. I mean, not only do people say that the game is basically crap, which I could have told you that from just looking at it, because no one asked for this game, but they also basically, I think, went to Twitter, I believe, and they stated that this is due to the Xbox Series S, which I don't find surprising, because I mean, Sony was the one that made the PlayStation 5 be the same across the board spec-wise. Just one didn't have a disc slot and one didn't have, one had a disc slot, one didn't. Microsoft was the one that decided they wanted to create a cheaper discless option, but that's been affecting performance. That's something that I've been worried about pretty much ever since these consoles were announced. Like, I was looking at the Series S and I was wondering, how much of a bottleneck is this thing going to be? Like, how much trouble is it going to be to make games for it? And this is the result. We're starting to see that games are being affected because, look, we had 60 frames per second on last gen consoles. We had 60 frames per second on PS2. We had 60 frames per second, I believe it was on Ironfall on the 3DS. We're capable of doing 60 frames per second at this point, but we have such a limitation when it comes to these systems that really it does come down to, like, someone who clarified on Twitter, and I wish I had that tweet. I don't have it right now, and I do apologize for that. You can sure find it and all that stuff. But we need to get to a point to all three of these developers, all three of these gaming console companies need to come together and decide this is what is going to be the bare minimum, period. And they all need to agree on specs. So that way it's the same across the board, and you just have your preference for what you want to play. And that's it. You just have your preference for what you want to play, and that's it. Because look, the Switch is its own thing, its own category. That's fine. You can expect that there's going to be a downgrade somewhere. I wouldn't be surprised if people weren't surprised that games are running at 30 frames per second on the Switch, because let's face it, it's a portable. It's a very capable portable, but we've had more capable portables come out since then that have shown that Nintendo can do it. So if we're still getting this on Nintendo's next gen console, I think it's going to be a huge disappointment. But when you have developers that are making games, you have to go with the lowest common denominator, which right now is the Series S. It doesn't have a whole lot of teraflop computing power into it. I don't seem to recall having a whole lot of RAM in it either. And, I mean, look, there are some people, some developers, that they're able to work some magic and get these games to run pretty darn good. And, of course, indie games and smaller games that don't use a whole lot of data are going to run just fine. But when you're a Series S owner, because you don't want to have a disc, and you own a Series S, and you're looking forward to playing these games, and the best they can do is like 900p, well, the best they can do is 1080 at 30, dude, we're still in last gen. We're still like 2 gens behind then. I don't know, maybe it's just me. What do you guys think? Do you think that we're just at a point now to where it's like, look, there's no excuse for this. It's 2022. I understand, again, the Series S is being the bottleneck here. But we really need to get to a point to where, look, drop the Series S. There's no point to it being around. There's not. And then what happens if you end up in situations like this next topic, where apparently, well, I'll just bring it up here for you guys. I see apparently PS5 Pro dev kits are reportedly making their way to studios now. How much of this is accurate, I don't know. But the PS5 Pro has been rumored for a while. But I have some concerns about this. Mostly because, one, does that mean that we also have, like, I don't even know what they would call it. Because they're already calling it the Series X, so it's not like we can put like an X at the end like we did with Xbox One. So maybe like an Xbox Series X Elite or S Elite. What happens when we get to these newer mid-gen refreshes and, you know, people are still using the Series S? Are these games just going to run like crap? Then what's the point in having the Pro models? You know, because again, if you have to look into the lowest common denominator in this, and it's the Series S because it's not very much. It's basically like an Xbox One. It's not as capable as the Series X because of its compute performance on the inside, and it's not like the PS5, which is across the board of specs, so you can maybe do some tweaking here and there. How much of an issue is that going to be if we get the Pros? Now, I think it's way too early. I mean, I'm sorry. I know the PS5. I know these consoles are getting more and more in stock, but it still seems like it's still too soon for a mid-gen refresh. Like, that would annoy me. As somebody who's had the PS5 now for probably has it been 2 years already? Maybe 3 years since the system came out? Maybe it's been 2 years. Yeah, about maybe 2 years ago, I think. Because the system came out in 2020, so yeah. What? That feels like a short life cycle. Because if you're telling me that the cycle is only 6 years, yeah, that's a typical life console. But we're just now starting to get these consoles back in stock. You know what I mean? And now we're already getting a Pro. And then, like we talked about in the last article, what happens if we get the Pro? And it's way better. And we're still being held back by the Series S. Even if Nintendo comes out with a mid-gen refresh or a new, or you know, a whole new gaming console, and it's as capable as a PS4 or a PS4 Pro, and again, because we don't know what Nintendo's going to do, they're doing their own separate thing. I know that it's a completely different market, but between PlayStation and Microsoft, between Sony and Microsoft, if the Xbox Series S is still holding developers back, what difference does it make? Yeah, sure, you gotta have some niceties, but I don't feel like we have that many niceties. Like, yeah, sure, you know, I play God of War on my PS5, and it probably loads better and maybe upscales it a bit more, but it's still a PS4 game. God of War Ragnarok is still on the PS4, so I'm concerned that it's still gonna look like a PS4 game, but it might have some niceties in there. I don't know. I mean, Horizon Forbidden West kind of did that. It was still a PS4 game, and it felt like a really nice-looking PS4 game that just loaded faster because it was on the PS5. That's it. It didn't blow me away. Now, I haven't played it since all the patches came out. Maybe it looks and runs a heck of a lot better, but I don't know. Again, I'm not trying to be negative. I'm just trying to look at it as a concern, because it's just like, if we still have... That would be like if Nintendo was still making Wii games. You know, and it's like, you know, we have to make games that run based upon the Wii's architecture. Well, that's a pretty different architecture than the Switch. I don't know how well it's going to work out for you. But that's going to be it for me, guys. I've babbled on way too much, and I do apologize. If you held with me all the way to the end, I really, really appreciate it, because you guys are the lifeblood of this channel. Every view that I get, every like that I get, every new subscriber, every comment, I take to heart right here. I know you can't see me touching my chest, but you know, I'm just a small time channel. I don't have a lot going on for me, so any support that I get is greatly appreciated. And I'm trying new things. Like I finally found the camera again, so now I can record from the computer, and I've got it propped up on this little thing. I might see if I can take this microphone here and put it on here so I can have the microphone right by my mouth. I'm gonna try different things. I might even try using my phone if I can figure out a way to, because this computer doesn't go through Bluetooth. I know it's weird, but it doesn't go through Bluetooth. So maybe I can connect the phone directly through a cord and have it be used as a camera, and then we'll get some really nice picture quality. I don't know. We'll see. I might just go back to just using the phone. That way I can just make a real quick 5-minute video, post it, and give it to you guys. But I appreciate any input that you get, whether you like this style better, whether you like the phone style better, you like this microphone better. You know, let me know. I appreciate all the feedback I can get. And I'm going to go ahead and let you guys go because I've babbled out for way too long. But go ahead and be sure to set your calendars. It seems like it's been set. Go ahead and make this announcement now. It seems like on Thursday, we're going to do a Retro Rewind podcast all about God of War. You know, both Mike and I have finished God of War. I have platinumed it, so I've completely 100% the game. He's finished the story. I don't know if he's done anything else past that. But we're going to talk about it. I'm going to talk about some things I know Ragnarok's already set in stone, so I'm not going to be able to affect what exactly the game's going to have, but I'm still going to throw out theories about what I think they might do with the next God of War game, and possibly future God of War games based upon little hints and Easter eggs that they threw in God of War that I've noticed. And we're just going to talk about our thoughts about God of War and God of War Ragnarok. It's going to be a very dedicated podcast to it, and hopefully you guys will come and join us for that. And if nothing else, guys, have a great rest of your day, and I will see you probably Wednesday, maybe Thursday or Friday, depending upon whenever we can get around to recording some more. But I appreciate it. Have a good one. I'll see you next time.